What's up, guys? Team Survival here. The other day, I came out with a Gouki deck profile, and after doing some intensive and extensive playtesting, I've made some adjustments that I'm ready to share with you guys. So I'm going to take down the old video and put the new one up. My Mass Chameleon still didn't come in, which I'm kind of bummed, but that's okay. We're going to go into the deck profile anyways. So for your Goukis, it's 3 of the Gouki Suprex. I think he's the best card. And then 3 of the Twist Cobra, who's also like arguably the best card. These cards are crazy good. Twist Cobra looks sick. But so this one allows you to extend and summon again. And Twist Cobra, you can destroy one of your monsters, which they'll get the graveyard effect to search if they get destroyed, and she'll gain that attack. And it's a quick effect, so you can do it during either player's turn, during the damage step as well. So it's like crazy good. Because that can stop people from being able to react to that effect, because damage step has different timings that you can react to, because if it's in the damage step it has to affect the damage, or I want to say it's got to be like a counter trap or something. But anyways, these guys are really good. All the Goukis have graveyard effects where if they go to the grave, you get to search a Gouki card, so that helps you. Like if Twist Cobra dies, you can get a Super X. If Super X goes away, you can get a Twist Cobra. And when you link away, you do get the effects. And like Gouki Rematch is also searchable. So these are the best. That's why we play 3 of these guys. This Goukis are kind of splashable in my opinion. And if you want to play like Predaplants and other stuff in this deck, that works really well too. Then 2 Gouki Bats and 2 Gouki Rice Scorpio. So the reason behind this is Scorpio is a level 5, but he's really good because you can just normal summon him, and he's 2300, and they all have 0 defense, which is really important for Mass Chameleon, but we'll get into that later. So Headbat is not quite as good because you have to get rid of a Gouki from your hand to special him. So usually when you're doing this guy, you've linked 3, and you're gonna get 3 cards, so you're gonna be able to extend, and it's not gonna hurt you that you're getting rid of a card. You don't typically use this in your first turn hand, but you can sometimes, depending on if you have graveyard revival cards, which this deck runs 6 of. So it is good, but running 3 is too much. And Rice Scorpio conflicts with Chameleon, so that's why we're only playing 2 of him. Plus he's super easy to get into, besides being a normal summon. I'm playing Transmodify, so he's really easy to summon out anyways. So 2, and I found that 2 doesn't conflict, but 3, you start seeing a little bit of a clog. So that's it for the Goukis. I'm a real big fan of this deck. I think it's a lot of fun. And half of the support hasn't come out yet. It's still in the OCG. So this deck's only going to get better from here. And like I built this whole thing minus like Borolo Dragon and I think just Borolo Dragon for about like $140. Like insanely cheap. Especially if you order the cards online and not go to a card store, because it's a little bit more expensive when you go to a store. So this deck's super cheap. You could play it competitively. To play it a little bit more competitively, I'd tell you what hand traps to go in as we go. But this is for sure the Gouki lineup that you would run. 1 Photon Thrasher. This card is just a warrior with 0 defense, and he's just easy to help put monsters on the board. He's light, so he doesn't really work well with Transmodify. So that is a drawback. Then 2 Goblinbergs. Again, just extenders. It's just extenders. Sometimes, I'll be honest with you, you do just open like a Baguska and like sit a turn or 2 before you can start doing things. But that's okay. Like it is what it is. This deck sometimes takes like 2 turns to set up, or a lot of decks take 1 turn. But don't get me wrong, this deck can set up in 1 turn, but it's not as good at it as other decks, which is why we play some traps. And then a card that I like, but is definitely cuttable / reducing the number, is Butterspy. I just like this because it helps me put monsters on the board really fast. The drawback is at 0 attack and not 0 defense. If you want to cut 2 or 1 of these, you could add in a Draw and Unlock, who is actually summonable with a Mass Chameleon. But I play 3 of these, so that 1 of these could be a draw, so keep that in mind. And then these upside down cards are the Mass Chameleons that come this week. So Mass Chameleon, you can't normal summon if you have a level 5 or higher, so that does conflict with Gouki Rice Scorpio, but it doesn't matter. I was playing 3, but I think 3 is a little too much. Two's really good because after you summon him, you have to go into your extra deck for the rest of the turn. You can't do other summons besides extra deck summons, which isn't a huge deal. He's really good. You want to do him last after you do all your turn, and you want to try and do Gouki Thunder Ogre and then summon out Mass Chameleon. It's actually like crazy good. So it's just a really good extender and just a really nice card to have. If you guys want to play the Plunder Plant engine, you can play that instead of this and like the Butter Spies or some of the Goblingsburgs. But I want to get the Warriors. I'm all about like Warriors, so that's why we're doing that. Even though Chameleon's not a warrior, excuse me there, but it's okay. Then 3 Ogre for sure. I think for this deck, Ogre's the best because it removes a problem with something this deck might have an issue with. This deck likes to beat people down, but removal is important. So I want to stick to that theme. So I like 3 Ogre. You can play 3 Ash. It's good. It's not as good as it used to be, but Ash is great. The way I would play this deck would be 3 Ogre, 3 Draw and Lock, and maybe like 2 Ash, if I had spares. I mean, I technically do, but they're in my other decks. But anyways, so 3 Ogre for sure. Then for consistency reasons, we'd go 1 Rotary, 2 Transmodify, and 1 Downbeat. So when you Transmodify and Downbeat, you still get their effects, which is really good. The reason why we're playing more Transmodify than Downbeat is because we want to go up, because why would you go down? They're weaker, and you don't gain anything by going down. And it's easier to go up than it is to go down. So Transmodify is just better, but if you have Downbeats, you can just play 3 Downbeat instead. Or if you have 3 Transmodify, you can just play 3 Transmodify instead. But I have the cards, so that's why I opted to play 2 and 1. It's just how I like to play the deck. And these make it very consistent. I'm really, really big fan of this little engine, and it helps the deck kind of plus, because you get those graveyard effects. This is self-explanatory. So some spicy tech is Instant Fusion, because we are playing Thousand Eyes Restrict. It's supposed to be the level 4 Warrior Fusion, but I just don't have him yet. And then the Sea Monster to help make rank 5 plays because of Rise Scorpio. This card's like killer good. It's really fun to just go Thousand Eyes, take their monster, equip it, and then just link away with it and just make them minus. Crazy good. You could up this to 2 if you wanted to. And then 1 Scapegoat, because we're playing Topologic, and this can also get us into a Mrs. Radiant and Proxy Dragon, which is sneaky good. Like, it's actually like crazy good. And you could get to a Borreload that way. So just the 1 Scapegoat. You could find a way to up it to maybe 2. I wouldn't play 3. I'm actually not a huge fan of this card, but while it's still around, it's just too good not to play. 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Soul Charge. These are the generic Graveyard Revivals. They're crazy, crazy good. They're not, like, no explanation needed, especially for a deck like this. It just puts out a bunch of Link monsters. Then 3 Gouki Rematch. Card is crazy good. Searchable. You just summon 2 Goukis, different levels. So like, it's so easy to like get into like a stupid board because of this card. I think it's the best card in the deck from the Goukis because it's only for Goukis and like it's just free monsters. That's a lot of advantage. Like 2 monsters is actually a lot. And then some more spicy tech is Mind Control. So I just want to take their monsters and link away with it because we do have some generics in here, generic links. So this card's like really good for removal, especially because this deck might have an issue with that sometimes, even though you can beat over stuff with Twist Cobra, stuff like that. But you could take these out for hand traps, or like a Scapegoat out for a hand trap. So like these could be draw unlocks, but I like the Mind Controls. I would probably keep the Mind Controls. And then a Regeki and a Dark Hole, again, self-explanatory, removal, blow up boards, and then set up your own, just kind of win the game like that. And then trap-wise, 2 Torrential. And the reason why 2 Torrential is because you get your effects when you Torrential from your Goukis when they go to the graveyard. So it doesn't really hurt you that much. And it's another board blow, which is like really good in my opinion right now. And so Torrential's really good. Again, I would leave these. I wouldn't take these out. If you were going to side anything out, it would probably be the 2 Storming. Or vice versa, actually. It's whatever your opinion. The 2 Storming, you want to be sneaky with your traps, guys. And you're playing 4, so you're going to see, like, probably 2 in a match. So, like, if you do draw one, like, if you have, like, let's say you have 2 monsters on the board, don't place it like directly behind them. Like it just kind of gives it away that you're going to be activating it because you're keeping it in front of you to remember that it's there. But if you put it off to the side, it makes it feel like that you're it's not an active card and that you're just bluffing with it. But really, in the end, you're going to blow their board. There's just like a small little tip that I've noticed while playing like these board blower cards. Little things that you do can kind of give away or make a player feel give away what you're doing or make a player feel safe. And so just try, like, don't put them all together, don't put them in the same columns, like keep them spread out. Like a card here is threatening, but a card over here isn't threatening. Anyways, that's the main deck. Again, these are good candidates for taking hand traps. 8 to 9 hand traps in this deck would be pretty crazy. Like if you had the 3 ogre and then 3 draw and like 2 or 3 ash, like your opponent really can't play, and you're going to be doing some pretty nutty stuff because it'll give you the time to set up. So that's it for the main deck. You can totally play this version too. In my opinion, it's just as competitive. I don't love hand traps a lot, but I mean, you gotta give them respect. They're crazy good. Next up, for the extra deck, 1 Mystic Radiant, 1 Proxy Dragon, who I didn't think I would love, but I'm like learning to really love this card, even though it's been out for so long. But now I'm really starting to enjoy it. 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Ib. This card you could take out for like a second misses or something. Isolde is a good card. I took her out recently. I just didn't find myself needing to go into her and not going. Like, it's just not going to go into her. If I, like, the reason why you'd go into her is, like, you need to get a warrior. But, like, I'm probably going to lose that duel if I'm doing that anyways because I'm not going to be able to summon the card I searched. And, like, it's probably not good. And I'd rather just sit on a Baguska and, like, try and come back after, like, 2 turns instead of just, like, admitting that defeat. But if you had to equip spells in the deck, then Isolde would be really good. Like Moonmirror Shield and stuff like that. Like if you played 2 Moonmirror, then you would be able to summon out Bat with her effect. But anyways, I wouldn't go that route. This is the Link 2s that I would play. Mystic Radiant's like really good in this deck. And then 1 Gouki, the Great Ogre, and 1 Gouki Thunder Ogre. So this card, Great Ogre, is a lot better than people give it credit for. You get effects if it goes to the graveyard, but also, like, everyone loses defense in their attack, so, like, you're going to basically be doing 2600 whenever this card attacks. It's, like, wicked good. And it has the most beautiful arrows, 3 pointing down, none to your opponent. Like, that's so nice. And then the Gouki Thunder Ogre is probably the better of the 2 because he allows you to extend. It takes 3 Gokis, and then you can normal summon again, which we were talking about that Chameleon play. But if you leave it on the board, your opponent also gets an extra normal summon, so you need to link this away if you do make it. Like, you don't want to leave this on the board. It helps you really get into, like, Borreloads or Topologic, who I think are better for this deck. I took Staryuja out because, like, this deck gets everything back anyways when they go to the graveyard, so I didn't feel like I was generating an advantage when I was Skullding because I don't need to fix a hand or I don't need to gain cards because I've already got them. And, like, drawing a Dark Hole isn't going to do me any... I mean, getting a Dark Hole from Skullding isn't going to do anything because I've established a board. And, like, I'd rather just make a Topologic, set, like, a Scapegoat or something, or just make a Topologic and sit on that than a Skullding. Next up, for some more generic, is Decode. And then Topologic and Borreload. Decode, you need this because of the Link fodder to get into it. And then Topologic and Borreload are basically self-explanatory. There's a reason Borreload's $60. So freaking good. You might find yourself going Borreload, Baguska, and sitting on that, and then next turn just summoning out like 2 more monsters, or like a monster, and then Gouki rematch, and like just winning the game that turn. So you can do like a first turn setup, Borreload, Baguska, and then your opponent probably can't play. I'm not saying that they're guaranteed not to be able to play because there are some crazy decks out there right now. But that's, like, in my opinion, for a deck like this, I think that's a really good board. Next, 1 Baguska, and then 1 Honor Arc. I was playing Castel, and I put 3 into the side because Topologic is not good with Castell, but in Honor Arc, it doesn't really hurt you. Like, you can go Honor Arc, and it doesn't really matter. Like, you'll go Topologic, summon 2 monsters in the zones it's not pointing to, and then summon Honor Arc into a point a zone is pointing to, blow a board, detach, and you're fine. And, like, during your opponent's turn, like, if they try to do something and you get Topologic's effect, you just detach again. So it really leaves them on the field. These are the only rank 4s you really need. You'll find that you can get into rank 4s really easy with this deck, but, I mean, these two really do the job. You could throw in a Abyss Dweller, or if you want to do a Utopia package, stuff like that. I'm sure you could find the space in the extra deck, like take out an Ib, or maybe an Underclock. I probably wouldn't, though. Maybe a Proxy, but you could do that. And then one Volcasaurus. He's like funny. I really enjoy this card. Durandal, I think, is the other really good rank 5. He's Artifact. And you can stop a normal spell trap, or like if you see your opponent search, you can make them shuffle their hand into the deck. So that's also like very good. But I like Volcasaurus just because he removes and does a shit ton of damage. I'm all about that. But if you wanted to play Durandal, you would take out probably the Ib, but not for me. I like Volcasaurus. Then the Thousand Eyes Restrict. This is supposed to be the level 4 Warrior Fusion, just didn't have it. And then the Sea Monster to help to get you into Volcasaurus, or just Link Fodder. Any of these are really Link Fodder. I think this is really fun and really, really good. Like, don't sleep on it. For the side deck, I just grabbed whatever spare cards I did have. 2 Cosmic Cyclone, I just had these laying around. And then, don't play 3 MST, but maybe you want to play like a Twin Twisters or something. But just, for me, this is what I have for this side deck. I didn't want to take any cards from my other decks out. You would want definitely 3-dimensional barriers, or evenly matched. For sure, 3 of these. Like, these MSTs aren't going to do anything. D-barriers will. And then I did have 1 Mirror Force and 1 Torrential, more for blowing boards. Don't need them, guys. If you have like if you want to do like cherries and stuff like that, like a real side deck, go ahead. Like, if you guys don't have those cards for side deck, then these will do the job, but they're nowhere near as good. Like 3 Bottomless, again, this is just what I have, but it is good. Like, you could side them in and maybe sack someone with them. And then again, 3 Light Imprisoning, just because it's what I have, and I feel like it could be relevant, so that's just why I grabbed them. And then actually relevant extra deck cards would be Castell and the Isolde. I felt bad just taking this out, so I threw it to the side. And Castell's like, he warrants a side, I feel like. Abyss Dweller would be better. But that's it, guys. These are super fun. Really, really enjoyed this Gouki deck. And if you get it now while it's cheap, before all the support comes out in like half a year or maybe a year, you won't regret it. You can definitely play it competitively. Like, you could definitely like win your locals or like go to an event. I'm not saying you're gonna top, but like if you play it right and you build the deck right and maybe go the hand trap route, like you'll catch a lot of people sleeping. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.